Mariam, and I'll be moderating this event tonight, inshallah. This event is the Muslim Student Union Association, Alumni Association's first event collaborated with the Muslim Student Union. We students typically fall into one of the following categories after we graduate. We go straight into grad school or professional school, get a job, or either get stuck in between more school or work, or take a break. We have 4 speakers tonight who will be sharing their experiences and challenges from their undergrad years all the way up to where they are right now. Our first speaker is Zainab Saadi, a proud UCI alumni who successfully made it to the USC Medical School and is currently a second year there. Our second speaker is Farhan Sinji, another UCI alumni who chose to go into the work field and is currently working as an electrical engineer. Our third speaker is Afad Sheikh, a UCSD alum who is currently working as a civil rights coordinator at CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Our fourth and last speaker is Ahmed Ibrahim, another UCI alumni who recently got his master's in public health science from UC Davis. Inshallah, we will proceed with some ayahs from the Quran by Brother Yusuf.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعنت الوجوه للحي القيوم وقد خاب من حمل ظلما ومن يعمل من الصالحات وهو مؤمن فلا يخاف ظلما ولا هضما وكذلك أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا وصرفنا فيه من الوعيد لعلهم يتقون أو يحدث لهم ذكرا فتعالى الله الملك الحق ولا تعجل بالقرآن من قبل أن يقضى إليك وحيه وقل رب زدني صدق الله العظيم. Translation. And in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficial. And faces shall be humbled before Allah, the ever-living, the one who sustains and protects all that exists. And he who carried a burden of wrongdoing, he who disbelieved in Allah, ascribed partners to him, and did deeds of his disobedience, became indeed a complete failure on that day. And he who works deeds of righteousness while he is a believer, then he will have no fear of injustice nor of any curtailment. And thus we have sent it down as a Quran in Arabic and have explained therein in detail the warnings, in order that they may fear Allah or that it may cause them to have a lesson from it. The high above all be Allah, the true king, and be not in haste, O Muhammad ﷺ, with the Quran, before its revelation is completed to you, and say, My Lord, increase me in my knowledge.
I was really excited about being here tonight. Actually, working for CARE, one of CARE's mission is basically to create youth activists and make sure that that activism continues on as people leave the MSAs. Unfortunately, in the past couple of years, we haven't been doing that great of a job. And in fact, the interns that have been coming in, we've noticed that we haven't really helped them to the full capacity that CARE can help them with. So one of our goals for this year was actually to go out into the community and do things like this. So So when I saw that the MSU alums were putting this on, I thought, what better opportunity than now to actually come in and provide our services. And, you know, we have some wonderful people here, but a lot of times what's neglected is all the people that are doing the liberal arts. You know, growing up, going through the MSA, all my friends, everyone I was around were actually science majors. I myself was pre-med for 2 years. And I figured, well, you know what, let's do something different. Let's take a path that nobody else takes. And I kind of went through a process of figuring things out on my own. So a lot of what I have to present today really is my personal experience, and it might not apply for your circumstances or your situation. It's really geared more towards individuals who are doing liberal arts. I myself was an international studies major. That's what I graduated from UCSD with. My area of focus was Middle Eastern studies, and I did refugee studies, the Palestinian refugee issue to be precise. So that's what I graduated with. When I graduated, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do because I made the decision to leave pre-med pretty late in the game. And by the time I wanted to graduate, I really just wanted to leave school. I didn't feel school was doing anything for me. I wasn't learning anything there. Whereas when I graduated high school, I was really excited. I was excited because A, I was moving out of my house, going far away from home actually, and B, because I was actually doing something meaningful. I didn't feel like the high school experience was all that great. So part of being in college is to actually learn, and I found that a lot of the skills that I needed in the workforce, I really didn't learn at college. They don't really teach the things you need in college, unfortunately, especially if you're liberal arts. They don't tell you the stuff that's important. Could I get an idea of how many of you are actually in the liberal arts? A lot. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I'm speaking to a crowd that doesn't need this. Actually, not true. A lot of what I'm bringing is stuff that people would need as a professional. You know, working within engineering firm or in a hospital. It's all things that you would be able to take as far as skills are concerned. You know, in HR, it's known as transferable skills. Skills that you could take anywhere at any time and do whatever you need to do with them. So there's really four things that I want to focus on, and it's just starting with an initial introduction and then going on. And this is where I kind of get to the harsh realities. When you leave college, like, life kind of sucks. It really does. There's a huge shift. There's like a shift from like college life to like real world life, and there's no transition in between. Unless you go to grad school. Like, when you go into the real workforce, things really suck. Like, I remember I worked for 9 months at a law firm, and I absolutely hated it. I created a test for myself. It was called the gut test. Basically, every Friday night, when I was leaving from work, I would check my gut, and I would be really happy. Every Sunday night, when I had to go to work the next day, I would check my gut, and I would be really, really upset. And I knew this was not something I wanted to do. And I did this for 9 months. The day that I swear I put in my resignation was the happiest day of my life. It was very exciting. It was like the birds were out chirping, you know, the sun was shining. Like, I felt I made the right decision, but that meant I had to go back home. I couldn't afford to live by myself in San Diego. That meant I had to go live with my parents, and I hadn't lived with my parents for almost 5 years now. So like, my parents really didn't know who I was. Like, moving back in was really hard for me. I was at home for about 3 months, but at the end of the day, before I moved back with my parents, I went through a process of figuring out what I wanted in life. And by that time, what I understood I wanted with my life was that I wanted to do something that would benefit other people. I didn't want to just find a job that I would go to 9 to 5, come back home and be angry for the rest of my life. Or just go to grad school for the sake of going to grad school, because grad school is really expensive. So, you know, I really needed to find something that I was passionate about. The only problem was I really didn't know how to get there. All I knew was that I wanted to serve other people, and I wanted to do something that was intellectually challenging. So when I went back home for 3 months, one of the things I did was I spent a lot of time on the phone, contacting people I knew all over the place, old friends, old professors.